Okay, fuck it. We're going to have to do it live.
You feel that? Ah, shit. Oh,
Drowning deep in my sea of loneliness, broken your servant I am. Will you give it to me? It seems what's left of my human side is slowly changing in me. Will you give it to me? Looking at my own reflection, when suddenly it changes, my reality it changes. Oh no, there is no turning back now. You've woken up the demon. Yeah, man. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and let it run to me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mother, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Madness is done, get that has been given to me. I can see inside you the sickness is rising. Don't try to deny what you feel. Will you give it to me? It seems that all that was good has died and is decaying in me. Will you give it to me? It seems you're having some trouble in dealing with these changes, living with these changes. Now the world is a scary place, now that you've woken up the demon. Yeah, man. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and let it open to me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mother, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. And this is the gift that has been given to me.
my dream. When I dream. When I dream. Nobody, don't do it again. Don't do it again. I'll be a good boy. I'll be a good boy. I promise. No, mommy, don't hit me. I never hit me like that, mommy. Don't do it. You're hurting me. I have to be such a bitch. Why don't you? Why you just look up and die? Why can't you just look up and die? Why can't you just leave me and die? Never stick your hand in my face. I can't, bitch. Fuck you. I don't need this shit. You stupid, sadistic, abusive fucking whore. But you like to see how it feels, mommy? Here it comes, get ready to die. Oh, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and then it open to me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mother, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, come on, get down with the sickness.
Nobody asked you, Macy. All right, welcome to 15. What the fuck is that? Oh, I know what that is. Hold up. That is something I missed yesterday and I gotta catch up on. Welcome to 15 November 2023. I'm here with Mr. ÉGUEST, who has muted his mic again. Unmute your mic so you can talk. And then there we go. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Hey, what's up?
Would you please introduce yourself? Then change your username and tell us why you're here today.
I'm Warsaw, the Patriot, also known as Warsaw the American. So, today's topic, we're going to be talking about the shift of modernization of vehicles, which is a backward step.
All right. Now, before we go any further, actually, I've got to do some rearranging with the screen shares. So, present screen share. Let's see how that turned it. Sorry about it covering half of your name there, Wasp. And I want to go back. This is actually a comment from before the stream. I just want people to know I really don't give a fuck if you think I'm crazy. Right? I have PTSD. That's not news. All right, moving on. Back into the reality of the universe is, oh, hi, Gulch. Okay. Wasp, this is what you agreed to. Are you sure that this is always the best idea? Oh, okay. Well, that's good enough for now. All right, Wasp, you actually brought up something very, very specific, and I'd like you to introduce us to the issue, and then tell us where you stand.
All right, so as you're all aware, that these past, I'd say 3 years now, where people have been pushing for the conversion of electric vehicles from gas. The downside is with that, what are you going to do with those batteries? And two, what are you going to do with all those resources you're putting into these new vehicles? And three, now, after seeing a new recent video I just saw a couple, like 4 or 5 days ago.
About that, yeah. By
2026, the federal government is now demanding that every car manufacturer has to have a kill switch in the vehicle. Meaning, if this AI in this vehicle system deems that you're intoxicated or pretty much impaired visually, it could shut down your vehicle while you're driving. So if I'm on freeway, and here's a kicker, say if I was going like 60, 70, or 80 miles an hour on the freeway, if my car gets shut down in the middle when I'm driving, what's stopping me from actually trying to stop my vehicle? Next, the guy behind me is going to hit my vehicle. I'm just seeing a lot of state and federal lawsuits go at this idea.
Okay. Before we go too much further, hi, Squatch. You missed Dawn of the Dead. And Warsaw Patriot is introducing us to our first subject, because actually I basically shanghaied him. I kidnapped him. I drug him in here kicking and screaming because he brought this to my attention. And so let's focus for a second on the subject of this AI. So how does this system work? Is this is it a breathalyzer, or what?
It's artificial intelligence, so it's pretty much like a robot. The robot system can pretty much just deem you technically a threat as a driver and just shut off your vehicle whenever it wants to.
Okay, I'm going to answer my own question here. The algorithm, first of all, so that's a bad sign. Supposedly, it's somehow going to read your eyes, and if your eyes are doing something it doesn't like, in some sort of parameter set, well, it'll determine that you're intoxicated and the vehicle will not operate. I don't know if it'll shut down per se. I don't know if it'll send out an SOS to law enforcement, an automated 911 saying, hey, mandatory carry's drunk and he's trying to drive me. So could you come down here and arrest him for attempted drunk driving? Or what all it will do. So, and I'm a little surprised, Wasp. I thought you were going to go a slightly different route. Before we get too far down this road, though, would you concede that public safety is an issue that we should all be concerned about?
I think that the media hypes and makes things over-exaggerated, but yes, obviously there's drunk driving. But here's the thing, it's a moral issue. Just because you make a law, it doesn't really solve the problem.
This is going somewhere. This is going somewhere. I promise. And this has got to be a yes or no question. Answer. Is drunk driving a public safety issue?
Obviously, the answer is yes.
Okay. So, would you concede again? Yes or no, please? Believe me, I'll give you plenty of time to rant. Would this technology, in theory, make the public safer?
I'd say no.
That was not the answer I was expecting. Okay, by all means, please.
First, let's put it this way. With all this technology, you're trying to solve one problem for another problem. In my view, this could actually be used to... let me put it this way. Big government, let's put it that way. And two, the technology could be over-abused for somewhat so-called good.
Well, actually, my answer to that question was no. Would this theoretically improve public safety? No.
No.
Theoretically. Let's set the abuse questions aside, because that involves an accusation based on information that's not yet in evidence. I know we'll get there. We will get there. But first, we got to get there. Between here and there, though, we've got this big, fat fucking problem. All right? Your car is supposedly reading your eyes and determining if you're drunk or not. Now, let's... Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say there's also more to than that. This is artificial intelligence. So what's stopping them from taking all this information from your person that's actually operating a vehicle?
He's not wrong. That's actually kind of a side subject, but he's not wrong. Now, here's a question I've got for you, geniuses. Oh, by the way, when Wasp brought this to my attention, it was in the context of a news article about how a member of Congress, and I'm sorry, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Thomas Massey? Was it Thomas Massey?
Hold on a second, maybe. The answer is definitely maybe. Was trying to, quote, defund the research project. That tells us all something very important. You can only defund a project you're funding. So that tells us who is the absolute end-all, be-all of this project. All right. The feds are the ones pushing this thing beginning to end. Pick your favorite car company. I don't give a shit. We're going to create Warsaw Motors here just because, because Wasp happens right now.
And here's another thing I'd like to add to bring up. Elon Musk, just recently now I found out he's lovey-dovey with Ocasio-Cortez now, apparently.
Is he?
Apparently so.
I hope he's wearing a condom.
I hope so too, but I don't know what to make of the guy. I don't trust the guy. I mean,
no, not really.
Him buying Twitter, making it called X, I mean, still, I don't trust the guy still.
We'll talk about that some other time.
But
That's
no,
a shit.
I agree with Macy on that. Skynet. That's a possibility right there.
He's not wrong. All right, but it's actually worse than this, Macy, and I'll get to that in a second. You want to know why I don't like the idea of this technology? Wasp?
By all means, hit me.
You own a car, right?
I think the whole majority of Americans do, or a small portion of them.
Okay. Does your car have an airbag?
I think they do, yes.
When was your car built?
That I don't know.
Okay. Well, then you should probably take your car into a dealership for your brand. Take your car into a Warsaw Motors dealership and have the airbag inspected, because when the airbags first came out, they were set to X number of pounds of gas deployed in 1 second, I think it was. And I want to say it was like 25 pounds of gas to deploy in 1 second. It took about 1.5 years for them to realize that that was enough pressure to break bones in your face. It gets worse. All of a sudden, NTSB is issuing this new directive. Oh, it's got to be 10 pounds. I do recall this much. It was less than half as much impact, right? Which means less than half as much gas, all right? And rather than own it and just say, hey, you know what? We made a mistake. They try to blame the developers of the airbag for the design faults. Now, maybe the developers of the airbag did come up with this idea, hey, it's got to be 25 pounds in 1 second deployment. That's a possibility. But at the end of the day, NTSB signed off on this. And apparently they didn't test it properly. All right. I really wish Fit and Fire were in here, because he'd be hearing some echoes of another rant I made. They did not test it properly to determine if the airbags that they were demanding manufacturers install in their cars were going to potentially seriously injure drivers. Whose fault is that? Is that Warsaw Motors' fault for installing what is effectively a defective design? Is it the airbag developers, because they came up with this idea and they walked it down to NTSB, who signed off on everything? Or is it no? Why? We can't say that. We can't say that it could possibly have been the people that demanded it be installed. No. It can't be their fault. You know how we know? Because they said it's not their fault. Wasp, please unmute your mic. Thank you.
Sorry, background noise. I just don't want it going through my speaker.
Oh, I understood. I get it. Rob points out you can research your vehicle and look for any recalls.
Yep.
You need to know what kind of vehicle you have, which, to be perfectly blunt, I gotta find out what kind of car I got. All I know is it's a station wagon.
Yep.
So. Okay. Alpine Gulch has solved everything for us, folks. It's the crash dummy's fault. She's right. It must be that crash dummy's fault.
Yeah. Here's a crazy thought.
Yeah.
You know, most of your vehicles are overseas. Most likely, some of that stuff is made in China, which wouldn't be surprising and disturbing to think about.
No, it wouldn't. It would not surprise me in the least. The disturbing. I don't know.
It's AI,
It's
dude. Think about it.
comfortable. It's certainly not comfortable. Well, okay, the AI obviously that concerns me quite a bit more. Oh, excuse me. But the pure fact of the manufacturing doesn't. So here's a question I got for the members of Congress. By the way, this isn't NTSB demanding it be installed. No. This is members of Congress. Here's a question I got for you. What do you do when your beautiful, perfect AI completely fucking fails on you? When you have people like me who actually, I don't have to wear glasses to drive, but I choose to because it really does help. Sitting here from about 4 feet away, I think it is, I can't read the chat from here. All right. It's just, I wish I could show you what I'm seeing here. It's just a blurriness. I know New York Outcast was the last to comment so far. I can't even identify his avatar. And from here, I only know it's New York Outcast because I've seen his name enough to recognize the way it fits into the screen. I actually can't read anybody else. All right. I'm seeing 2 Warsaw Patriots because my vision is that bad now. And now I can see everything perfectly. So I'm supposed to take my glasses off to start my car. What happens as I'm driving down the road and I put my glasses back on and the AI can't tell that, no, I'm not drunk. I've just got my glasses on. What are you going to do then? Oh, it gets better. As Warsaw Patriot pointed out earlier, you're driving along at 60 miles an hour and your car shuts down in the middle of the I-10 freeway. I fucking goddamn guarantee that it's not a minute of the day you could stand on any overpass over the I-10, not count at least 20 cars in a given 15-minute period in any given lane. And God help you trying to keep up with the diamond lane, the number of cars going through there with only one person in them, by the way. That's not going to happen. That's how busy that fucking freeway is. You just watch. Within about 6 weeks of this new program, this new thing starting, you got every single one, Alpine, Rob, Macy, Squatch, right? Every last one of you is going to see a quaint and humorous local story about local man can't start car because car insists that he's drunk. And the police have come out and breathalyzed him because he actually called them and asked them, could you come out here and give me a breathalyzer because my car is swearing up one side and down the other. I'm drunk. No, officer. If it takes that, I will arrest myself for attempted drunk driving. Just please come down here and breathalyze me. With the news camera standing right there as the officers do the breath. Okay, well, blow into the tube. No, hey, you're stone cold sober. And no, your eyes are properly focused and dilated. They're not red and bloodshot. They're not glassy. No, you're not high either. We don't know what's going on. We're sorry. This is terribly embarrassing for all concerned. The next iteration you're going to see, and just watch, this is exactly what's going to happen. Then about 2 weeks of that story coming along, you're going to hear rumors about car dealerships calling people in because their car needs an update to the fuel injector system, or this or that, or some other bullshit thing. And online rumors and people getting kicked off of Facebook for a month, like I am right now for something related, something in this kind of vein, who are swearing up one side and down the other that they're modifying the algorithm because it can't tell the difference between drunk and sober under certain circumstances. Within about a week to a month after that, you're going to hear about a major crash. And I'm telling you, it's going to be the I-10. I know that fucking freeway, right? I almost know it like the back of my hand. I can count between certain off-ramps. The on-ramp closest to my grandmother's house, I can count to 48 with somewhere around 45, 40, close my eyes, 46, 47, 48, drift off to the right, and I'm on a specific off ramp to a place I know very well from my many trips down there growing up. There's going to be at least an 8-car pileup. And the only thing they can figure out is that the vehicle that started the chain reaction shut down because the driver was drunk. And that's all you're ever going to hear about it unless you really go digging, like you pay about $2,000 for all of the police report that includes the toxicology report that says we couldn't detect any alcohol in his system. We don't know what to tell you. The algorithm says he was drunk, but our toxicology report says, no, he was sober. So we don't know what to tell you. Your Honor, you gotta figure this one out on your own. We're out. We're done. Hi, Bernie. Wasp, you got anything to add to this?
Okay, so like I said, let's get backtrack here for a sec. It's AI. An electronic system.
No, don't make it worse. Go ahead, go make it worse.
Okay, remember your cell phones? The Patriot Act?
Yeah.
So if they're doing this is just pushing that mindset into the phones, into their vehicles, man. Think about it. They're speaking and listening every word you're saying right now.
Yeah, they are. I'm not supposed to know this, but I do actually know how Echelon works and what it doesn't actually do. And yeah, it that's a thing. That is absolutely a thing, people.
So apart from your phone, they could always listen to you while you're driving, especially with this AI system they're installing.
But this particular one is focused on your eyes. There is actually more, by the way, folks. If you have a connection between your cell phone and your vehicle, don't just shut it down. Take it into a dealership and have the Bluetooth. I think those things are Bluetooth based. Have it ripped out of your car, physically removed. That's somebody else's Balawak. He knows more about that. Oh damn! I wish I'd gotten that link. Wasp, do you know the one I'm talking about?
Doesn't ring a bell, but probably.
Oh, it's damn. Okay. Well, there's something. The computer in your car is recording every text message you send via your vehicle's Bluetooth and voice to text system. It's recording them and it will not delete them. It's a court case earlier this week about how no, that's now the property of the car manufacturer. Those texts now belong to the car manufacturer. Sounds like fun, doesn't it?
Not really.
No, it's not. That's why I opt out of cookies with every site I go to. I won't even read or look at what's there until I've opted out. And I get pissed because every time I go to certain websites, I have to opt out again. Especially, it really pisses me off when it's a site that they want my money and I got to go through this opt out bullshit. The fuck are you thinking? You want my money and you want to spy on me too? Are you fucking retarded? Amazon and eBay are the worst.
How about Temu?
See, I don't know anything about Temu because I won't touch it.
It's first you had Shin, then it was Wish, now it's Temu.
Oh, that's Wish now.
It's another version.
Oh,
it's basically a Chinese version of Amazon. It's a Chinese version of Amazon, and the worst part about it, they install Chinese malware into your devices the moment you buy and purchase stuff off that website. And the dangerous thing too is they can get into your banking accounts.
Oh, I did not know that. See,
Oh, yeah.
guys, I won't touch Temu because Warsaw Patriot here warned me about what they're up to. He didn't say that the Wish part before, but that's okay. I won't touch Temu. It's not going to happen. Temu.com. Here's a news flash. Stop advertising to me. Right? If I could figure out how to make the specific ban list on my laptop and my phone work, you'd be the first one entered.
Oh, you know what's even worse than that?
What?
You heard of Snoop Dogg, the rapper?
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing that fucking Grubhub ad.
I'm sorry, what?
You know Grubhub? You know,
Yes.
you buy food online and send it to your fucking house.
Yes.
Snoop Dogg made an ad for Grubhub, and it's fucking constantly going off on YouTube nonstop, and it's driving me nuts.
Okay. Really, Snoop?
Yep.
Really? I mean, the Corona thing was, what was it? The beer thing. That was, I get it. You know, but Grubhub, bruh?
Yep.
Okay. You know what? We got to move on. Let's just focus.
Back to electronics.
I'm not drunk enough for this shit. All right. Guys, I'm sorry. I have fallen behind on the chat because me and Wasp were trying to talk. So, Wasp, I'm going to give you a few minutes to just rant. Just fucking balls out, 4-letter words and everything. Go. Temu. Algorithms, whatever. Do it.
Yep. Temu, don't buy anything from there. You're buying overseas directly in China. It's not an importer website. It's directly overseas in China. Yeah.
That's it?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, I thought you would have more for me. Okay. All right. So, Rob, you and I both know the concept of assumption of risk. There's some risks. A risk of your car shutting down in the middle of the freeway. There's no reason for this.
You're solving a problem by creating a problem. That's what they're doing.
And Macy, why haven't they outlawed liquor? Hey, one of us has a little bit of history in the department. We tried that.
Prohibition.
It fucking failed.
Prohibition failed.
You know what Daetslov is? You know where that word came from, Wasp?
I'm guessing in the time of Prohibition?
Yes. It's Volstead backwards. I'm not even kidding. And I learned how to pronounce it by just thinking about the sounds I was making and going backwards. That's how I came to the pronunciation of Daetslov. See, that's something even Squatch doesn't really know. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. Okay, Ian, we get it. Yeah, and the worst part is I'm the scientist. God damn it, the one who was in Hunt for Red October. Anyway, I'm the other one who's sitting there saying, I'm not sure this is a good idea. Okay, so this is another objection brought up by Rob. What happens when the system is down or when it glitches? And it will glitch. You laugh. I'm not. I'm not.
I'm laughing because just thinking about it. We've seen this too many times. Like we saw in Texas, then we saw it in some other places. It's just going to be a massive car pile up. I'm betting on it.
Oh, it gets much worse than that. 2 highway patrolmen and their wives were killed when the God damn it. I want to say Prius, and I know that's not right. The hybrid that they were in.
It was a hybrid between electric and diesel or gas. That's hybrid, right?
Yeah, hybrid is where it's an electric car with a gas engine as a generater to keep the batteries charged.
Okay, yeah.
It was not a Prius. It was the other one, the one by Ford.
F-150.
No, hybrid. Anyway, they were cruising down the freeway and the car went completely out of control, accelerated to speeds of over 120 miles an hour. They are calling 911 trying to get the vehicle back under control. They could not, and they wrecked out, and all 4 of them were killed. These are 2 highway patrolmen, by the way. These are not shit drivers like me. About 2 weeks after that happened, hey, why do you think I keep harping on that 2-week thing? All of a sudden, all the hybrids got called back in, and they were getting shims into the brakes and the accelerator and the other components. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, and by the way, the algorithms were tested. They were fine. Promise. We pinky swear. I this kind of no, Bernie, the other guy, the first officer on this Russian submarine. Also, Bernie points out diesel runs on electricity. That's only partly true. Bernie, they use glow plugs to get the engine started, but once it's started, pressure and heat will keep it running. Sam Neill, thank you, Macy. Sam Neill was also in Jurassic Park. All right. Another subject. Uh-oh. Motherfucker is up to something, isn't he? All right. Warsaw. Have I been badgering you about something for, say, the last 3 weeks?
Oh, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that.
I'm going to talk about that.
No, we're not. Because it's not going to be a thing, all right? I've considered not doing it. If you're going to speak, I'm going to speak over you, dude. Because no.
See, I want Warsaw to start a channel about World War II and post-war massacres.
No, we're not talking massacres. It's history. Just historical stuff that nobody talks or even follows.
That's correct. He's right. These are things that did absolutely fucking happen. Whether he does it or not, it's not kind of not relevant at the moment. All right. One of them in particular, he talks about the Katya forest?
Katyn. Yeah, the Katyn forest massacre.
Katyn forest massacre. Can you sum this up in one sentence for us?
I could give you a small, brief detail paragraph, probably.
Please.
So, right when Germany and the Soviet Union divided up Poland from east and west, both that were occupied on both ends for the country. Well, we've already heard that Germany occupied the west side of Poland. Well, in eastern Poland, where the Soviet Union occupied that area, hundreds of thousands of Polish army officers, policemen, and even Catholic priests were rounded up and interrogated, shot in the head, and buried under 14 feet of dirt. And then they were blamed a whole massacre on the Germans because they were using German weaponry.
Okay. So, let's back this up then a little bit. This whole thing happened because these Polish soldiers were being held to some degree as basically as prisoners of war, correct?
Yes, but they're also under Joseph Stalin. They were enemies of the state of the Soviet Empire. That's what they were claiming as, enemy of the state.
Okay. So let me ask you just a shit posty question, because apparently shit posting is the thing for today. Is there anything on Earth that perhaps could have stopped this from happening?
Actually, yes.
Oh, gee, do tell.
Well, I don't know if this is factual or not, but I actually came across a movie on Amazon talking about it. Apparently, in the movie, who was at the time Second World War? The English Prime Minister, Churchill.
You would be referring to Neville Chamberlain or Winston Churchill.
Yeah, it was Churchill. But whoever it was that got the records, because a lot of the Polish army officers fled to England, they did not want to know about or actually present the information about what was going on in Katyn's, massacre, because anything that was going on in Poland under the Soviet government leadership, they wanted to censor it and cover it up. And sure enough, English government actually was covering up and making sure they were appeasing Stalin's appeasing leadership.
Okay, hold up a second. It was Neville Chamberlain that made the deal to partition Poland between Germany and
the Soviet
to hand Poland over to Germany specifically.
Yeah,
it was the peace in our time. Now everyone go home and have a very good rest.
Yep.
Speak. Oh, okay, Carrie, stop. You're gonna get fucking pissed off again. I can't express to you people how much I hate. Fuck that guy. I hope he burns in shit hell. I mean, I don't like Neville Chamberlain at all. Now, out of curiosity, these men, they wouldn't have been prisoners of war if Poland had won the war. What? I mean, am I wrong?
You talk about the Soviet Union or the Germans?
Either. If Neville Chamberlain had stood up to Germany and said, let me rephrase that. If Poland had been able to hold off the invasion, the German invasion, because that is where it starts. The Russians coming is the next part.
The biggest mistake I'd say about Chamberlain was when he was appeasing Adolf Hitler in Nazi Germany by giving the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, to Germany. That was the biggest major issue that they did.
Did any of you hear that? Especially those of you that popped in for about 2 seconds to drop an ad hominem and then bounce out like a M18. Warsaw, please say that again.
The biggest mistake Neville Chamberlain did in England was appeasing Adolf Hitler and giving Nazi Germany, Czechoslovakia, then Poland.
Okay. That's the first part. Poland specifically was a British ally at the time. As part of that appeasement, Neville Chamberlain, in particular, agreed to withdraw all British support for the Polish government, well, military at least, which at this point had amounted to a whopping 12 biplanes left over from World War I. I think they were armed with Maxims and propeller interrupter thing. I don't know the words I'm using here, because that's actually a little bit outside my study. And 4 Mark II tanks. I'm not even fucking joking here, people. This was literally shit that the British government was going to have to pay somebody to get rid of. The metal from it would not have actually covered the transportation cost to the scrap yard, or they could give it to, or sell it to Poland, which would basically be free for the British government. Hey, let's take that deal.
This is not the first time. Can I also add something to this?
Oh, please.
Do you know about the Holodomor?
Okay. I know where you're going with this. Can we come back to that in a second?
Let's just put it this way: it involves England.
Can we come back to that in a second?
Yep. Yep.
Right now, as we speak, Ukraine, where the Holodomor occurred, is trying to fight off the Russians. Now, of course, it's not Nazi Germany. Well, okay, fine. They're actually mostly winning their war. They're not. It's not this blowout, overrun thing like the Russians were able to accomplish. All right, but they are pushing back the Russians literally everywhere. Some of these are really bitter and contested things lasting. I think the longest battle so far was for one of the southern cities and lasted 4 months. But then again, one of the Ukrainian offensive, the biggest battles, it was one of the southern cities for 4 months. But then again, the Ukrainians in Mariupol held out for 6 months before they were forced to finally surrender because they had no food and no more bullets to fight with because they weren't getting resupplied. Because the entire fucking world was dragging their ass trying to come up with a way to help. Here's a thought. Start bombing shit. Start flying A-10s over the convoy. Oh, wait. Let's back off a little bit because everybody knows I'm fucking psycho, right? I hear voices that aren't there. All right, you wanted to talk about the Holodomor. Go ahead.
So, strangely enough, there's another movie I'd recommend you guys watch, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones at the time was actually a reporter for England. And he actually went to the Soviet Union to actually see the great communist utopia that the Soviet Union was always deeming they had. But it wasn't until he actually was hearing a lot of weird talk and suspicion about Ukraine because he was hearing peeps and voices about mass starvation. Starvation, oh yeah, by you, fucking Joseph Stalin. Starving the living fuck out of the Ukrainian people and making them eat their own people of cannibalism. These people were starving so bad they would actually eat their own kind and their own people and their own relatives. First thing they did was disarm the populace, make them use them as a workforce, took away the grain, and also took wherever utilities and wherever belongings they took away from their home.
Okay. Wasp, please illuminate the
Holodomor.
The viewers. How was the Holodomor executed? Were they just lined up and shot? Well, you did say starvation, so please
put it this
elucidate.
way: it's a man-made famine.
Okay.
Or let's put it this way: gun control. But there's another thing that's worse: food control. Pretty much the fucking government come in your place and just take everything you have. It's food available.
Well, actually, it's a little bit more complex than that, or a little more thorough than that. The Russian army came down into Ukraine. They collected like 99% of the grain. So, okay, well, there's that. This grain was sold abroad. Very, very communist of you, comrade. To pay for bringing in industrial equipment to build factories. Okay. But they also went through homes, taking pots and pans and cooking utensils. And any Ukrainian who's discovered to be hiding grain was shot, or were they burned alive?
And also possibly raped.
Well, the rapes are just sort of part of the part and parcel of the deal. See, that's how fucking jaded I am, folks. He brings up the thing about the rapes, and I'm like, whatever.
The Soviets were really brutal against the Ukrainian people. Let's put it that way.
Oh, that's nothing new. It was like that since Catherine the Great annexed Ukraine in 1779. Hey, Wasp, what happened in 1776?
Last time I checked, I believe we started becoming an American country in separation from England.
Oh yeah, that. Wait, which is first, 1776 or 1779? I forget. I'm old and senile.
It was 1776, then it went to 1791.
Oh. So are you trying to imply maybe just subtly that Catherine the Great invaded Ukraine after the American Revolution started, but before it ended?
I think it might have been after.
It was actually in between the beginning of the revolution and the end. But and by the way, it was 1781 that the Treaty of Paris was signed, but that's really not important enough to. This is just me spurging out, people. All right, don't worry about it. Sorry. Yes, I know, boomer. Where was I? As the American Revolution is being fought, Catherine the Great is marching her army down into Ukraine to annex it. Oh, gee. Huh. Very, very enlightened, isn't it? Hey, have you heard the term annex recently in reference to Ukraine there, Wasp?
I've been hearing it since 2013.
Okay, I'd like to go a little more recent than that.
How recent do you want to go? We're talking about the 20s, the 40s? Like, how far back do you want to go?
About 2022.
So we're talking Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine fully?
Yeah.
First, he annexed Crimea. Then he took over other parts of Ukraine, eastern part called Donetsk and Luhansk. Then it was whole Ukraine.
Well, they do.
And by the way, I've looked into that.
Really? You have? Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. Look up a movie called Ukraine on Fire, because 2013, let's just put it this way, I'm not going to go into too crazy detail, but in Maidan of Ukraine back in 2013, we did that. CIA.
Hold up. I know that's the popular theory. Right. the 2014 uprising.
13. It was 13.
Well, no, there's a 2014 thing you should know about. In 2014, the Ukrainian people rose up against their president because they were pissed about the Ukraine. The Ukraine had just been invaded and annexed into Russia, and these people were pissed. So they literally rose up. And, I don't know, Wasp, if you're old enough to remember this. I am old enough to remember when the Romanian people rose up against Nicolae Ceausescu, and all kinds of shit came out in a month, I think, after they literally stormed the presidential palace, put him onto what amounted to a show trial, right? It was bring the evidence in, show it to the jury, and then vote him guilty. Of course, the fact that he was actually guilty of all of this shit doesn't exactly help the situation any. And then within about 3 days, they took him out, him and his wife, out behind the oh god, son of a bitch. They don't call it a legislature there. Oh, they don't call it Congress there. What is it they call it?
Parliament.
The Hall of Ministers, I think.
Not sure, Parliament or something of Romania.
You know what? He might be right, folks. Don't trust my memory too much here.
I could be wrong.
And well, both of us are admitting we could be wrong, so that's a good sign for the two of us. But either way, they shot them.
His wife and himself too.
They shot him and his wife.
Yep.
And as they're facing the firing squad, these two are singing the International, which is apparently the communist anthem. And then within a month of this double execution, we find out just how fucked Romania is. Right? They're still fucked. Their asshole has stopped bleeding by now, barely. About a third of the children born in Romania in the last 10 years before the execution were HIV positive. 3/4 of the children born in that 10-year-ish time span are what we now call reactive detachment disorder. That's that thing when you don't get held as an infant because your body needs to be compressed, because that's what we used to do before we were humans, or when we were apes. Mothers had to hold on to their babies so they could go from tree to tree or run across plains or whatever it was that they did to escape predators. They had to hold on to that baby. We never evolved out of that stage. We can't evolve out of that stage. 3/4 of the children born in that 10-ish year period, and ish means longer, have reactive detachment disorder because they were taken from their mothers and put into a basket or an incubator and just sort of fed and ignored. Well, their diapers got changed. I'm sorry. I forgot to say they're fed, their diapers changed and ignored because Ceausescu wanted to raise an army for his masters back in Moscow. That's how fucked Romania is. They're just beginning to recover from that. Their asshole is still bleeding, but it's starting to heal. And that's what Russia did to Ukraine. That's when the people of Ukraine saw what Russia did with Crimea. They were ready to do to their then current President Poroshenko. Damn, I got it in one.
Poroshenko.
Thank you. They were ready to do that to him. Only they weren't going to be that nice because they were building bonfires. Right? At least Ceausescu got a firing squad. That's what 2014 was about. They were pissed and they were going to fucking execute him. Yeah, Wasp, let me ask you, if your house was being broken into, right, and you were in a situation where, no, I can't stay, I have to get out of this house, or they will kill me, or beat me, or whatever, what are you going to do?
That's a good question.
Okay, let me throw this one at you. Let me see if this makes sense to you. You have a neighbor on your left who's very friendly, a neighbor on your right who's not so friendly, right? You can easily hop out the back window and go left or right. Which way are you going?
Probably go to the one that's friendly.
So you're right. Of course, because you're not stupid. All right? Poroshenko fled to Moscow. What does that tell you?
He was in pockets for Putin.
Actually, I think it predated Putin, but close enough. By a little bit. I think that actually went all the way back, basically to very, very late Gorbachev, or very early Yeltsin era. Okay, Macy, I'll see you on Discord, bro. Anyway, when you have to flee, you will always flee to a friend and not to an enemy. Poroshenko went to Moscow. One-way flight. The plane is still fucking there. It's been parked and grounded ever since because it can't be flown. Something, regulation something. All right. It's still technically Ukrainian government property. Nanu. Okay there, Mork. Now I know that there's this theory that the CIA orchestrated the 2013 and 14 uprisings. No. Yeltsin. God damn it. Putin orchestrated the uprising when he annexed the Crimea. He basically put them in the Ukrainian people in the position where they had to rise up and fight. They realized what it was that was ruling over them, and it was either we rise up and fight, or this guy's going to kill us all, which is actually kind of the situation. Oh, fuck me. From Romania. And what was the other one? The other successful uprising against the communists. You know what? I might not be remembering this correctly. Maybe there wasn't one. That's also, to a lesser extent, what happened to Wasp here isn't old enough to remember. East Germany. The East Germans got fed up. They were tired of being massacred.
That's talking about the Berlin Wall.
I'm talking about the Berlin Wall. I was, I think, 12 years old when that happened. And Mom and Dad let us all stay up all fucking night. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen on a school night, because I know I didn't miss school. Well, I know I wasn't at school the next day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the night that happened was not a school night, and I'm watching it with mom and dad. Actually, they had that huge Captain C bed that they used to have with built-in desk. That desk was awesome. All of us are up there watching that, and one fucking asshole, I believe his initials are mandatory carry, said something to the effect of, "There's no way the Russians are going to let them get away with this, right?" Well, Russians let them get away with it. I'm not sure why. To this day, I will never.
And you know why? I think it might have.
Please.
Gorbachev. Because theoretically, just hear me out.
No. Go ahead. I'm not saying you're wrong.
The Russian army was about to go in advance into Eastern Germany and actually, theoretically, massacre those East Germans from actually tearing down that wall. If it wasn't for Gorbachev, even though he was a Soviet, if he didn't tell the Russian army to stand down, we might have seen a different outcome.
Okay. Do you have anything, any kind of evidence that did happen?
Is this what I've heard and what I've gathered?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot say he's wrong. I can't look you all and oh yeah, absolutely, he's right. Yeah, I cannot, and I will not sit here and lie to you and say he's wrong, because I don't know he is. Because I was 12 at the time, and I don't make that the top priority in my universe. Sorry, that's the truth. He's probably more correct than not. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, you're starting to see what Viva Free refers to as history rhyming. Except history doesn't rhyme, David. It fucking repeats every time you let it happen. Okay. Since we've got a few minutes, Wasp, is there anything else you'd like to maybe give a 5 to 10 minute rant to?
History is important. Read it.
Remember it.
And also, just what's the word? Think about it. Those who don't read and reflect on history are damned and doomed to repeat it.
George Santayana, 1956? No, that's not an exact quote, but close enough. Okay. Wasp, do you want to hang around for the rest of the stream, or what do you want to do?
We can hang around. I got nothing to do.
Well, I'm going to move on to the rest of the stream. Now, give me a second. I finally got smart. I emailed myself show notes. So, what was I going to do next? Oh, you know what? Something that pissed me off this week, except it didn't piss me off, is I got confirmation that a circuit court has declared the bump stock ban unconstitutional, and the pistol brace ban is apparently also unconstitutional. So that's good news, kind of all around.
And there's another one. Frames and receiver rule was also struck down too.
Actually, they've started advertising again. Apparently, a particular company wants me to buy their product again. And well, no, I don't like your product. Do better. All right. Also, have some fucking customer service. Just saying. All right. So I'm gonna stop the. I'm gonna stop the screen. Stop the screen share for a second. Present a different screen share. It should be up. It, although apparently I buried it pretty deep. Motherfucker, I didn't turn my computer off last night. What? Oh, I bet you I know what happened. It's going to be all the way back up at the top. There it is. So this week's reading from Daetslov Act is Supplemental Provisions. So, and we're going to blow this up. Okay, so this is one of the longer ones. Supplemental provisions. The states may establish reasonable standards generally relative to the standards of other states in the establishment of concealed carry permits. Pause. All right, that means that each state can set their own standards, but you got to have it kind of the same as everybody else, or no. And that's a big fuck you to California in particular, concealed carry requirements, because I can absolutely see that they're going to try to cheat and play games with concealed carry permits to try to effectively ban concealed carry. Right. No other act or ordinances may be passed. Pause. Actually, the states can also set their murder and other related felony crimes standards. But I mean, I can't word it down that far. Okay, mandatory concealed carry permit requirements are hereby expressly forbidden. Again, a fuck you to California. You cannot carry a firearm in California openly, period. And you can only carry concealed with a permit. No regulations relative to location, security, or any other conditions of any lawful firearms or weapons retailers may be passed. That is a particular fuck you to San Francisco, which forced their last gun store out of business, I think it was about 8 years ago, by zoning requirements. Sales, property, and other taxes may in no way exceed any other industry. They want to tax munitions in particular out of the industry right now. Municipalities and counties may, at their discretion, waive property taxes in whole or in part for such retailers. Again, fuck you to California. There's a lot of them in here. Get used to hearing those words. States may, at their discretion, waive sales tax in whole or in part. No state, nor city or county, nor the federal government may impose any tax or other dues on any firearms nor related materials in excess of other products at the same price per unit. And munitions are hereby expressly forbidden to be taxed in any way, shape, or form. All right, so how much of a fuck you was that? I mean, this was literally a bend California over and rape them in the ass without lube moment. And I'm not even ashamed of that. In the event of a challenge to a state's concealed carry permit requirements, the courts are to assume the state more likely to be in error unless overwhelming evidence to the contrary can be presented. And in either case, fees and other requirements may not exceed the ability of a person in any social status, tax bracket, or other category to reasonably achieve in the course of a standard year. Pause. And I think Wasp here will join me here. There is a lot of costs involved in owning a firearm. I mean, just cleaners, solvents, and grease, lubricants, bullets. Shit, just having something to put the gun in when you don't need it. Unless it's a shoebox, it's all going to cost you some money. This is to prevent certain states, and I'm actually thinking of New Jersey, oddly enough, from literally putting pricing so that poor people can't get it, can't get a gun. Wasp, am I wrong?
Nope, you're not wrong at all.
Oh, gee. How shocking. All right, so moving on. May issue good cause or any other restriction on issuance of concealed carry permits that reduces the likelihood to prevent issuance without overwhelming public necessity to do so. Ordinances are hereby expressly forbade. This is a particular fuck you to a Southern California county. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but there was a Southern California county that had a may issue, I think it was, requirement. The requirement was challenged. The county lost the challenge. The sheriff backed down. He said, "Okay, we're not going to do this anymore." And then Gavin Newsom, in and of his own self, took up the cause to put the May issue back onto the requirements. So, I mean, it's not good on the sheriff for backing down once the court had said no, but holy shit, Gavin, the fuck is your malfunctions? And please list them alphabetically. I want to look them up later. And I prefer if you spell them correctly, just in case I don't know how to spell. Because everybody around here knows my spelling sucks. Okay, concealed carry permits may only be denied for due cause, and such permits shall be processed within 14 days. Any request not processed within said time frame shall be conditionally approved, and any permit not processed within 30 days shall be unconditionally approved. The state has 14 days from the day that you send that paperwork in to say, no, mandatory carry is psychotic. He hears voices that aren't there. He sees people that aren't there. Okay, so no, he can't have a gun. They have 14 days to do that. Between 14 and 30 days, they can come in and they can take the gun. Up to 14 days to come to say, no, you can't have the gun, and take it away. They have another 15 days to challenge me on it. All right. They may be able to take the gun, they may not. After 30 days, there ain't shit they can do. Right? You had 30 fucking days to process this. Here it is, day 31, and all of a sudden you discover that I was in a VA hospital in 2015. I think it was 2015, in the suicide ward. That's true. That happened. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that did happen. You had 30 days. You didn't bother to find out who this guy was. No, I get to keep the gun. Fuck you. I want to point out that this is actually a big fuck you to the state of New Jersey. It's called the New Jersey ban. You put in for your concealed carry permit or your other gun permits, and it sits in somebody's to be ignored box for 4 years. Or was it 5 years? Maybe it was pretty sure it was 4 years though. And while it's not denied, it's never been addressed. It's never been denied, so you can't challenge it. It's not going to be approved. by sitting in somebody's to be ignored box. You got 30 days. Fucking get your shit together and do it. Okay. The federal government may not impose new restrictions on any weapons or parts thereof not already established as law, to wit, the registration of firearms as provided under this amendment. All firearms shall be required to be registered except for those built by the original owner. Oh, I did address the question of ghost guns. Huh. Okay, so you. Give me a second. I'm going to pick on somebody in the chat. Somebody not WASP. CNT Designs. Right? He gets an 80% receiver kit. The whole kit, everything he needs except the Dremel and the cutting bits, the milling bits to do it with. I'm not joking, folks. There's a guy that did finish off an 80% AR-15. Was it MC Shaman? Anyway, he did it with a Dremel. It was a big Dremel, but it was a Dremel. He could, because that he made that gun, he could keep it unregistered. He's good to go. He can't transfer it to his grandkids, to his kids, to his wife, anybody else. No, right? It's his. He's stuck with it forever. I want to point out, actually, he only did that with the Dremel because as he was doing it originally, he made some sort of mistake, and at the point when he realized what he'd done, it was too late to fix it. Well, okay. So I'm going to finish it off with this Dremel to prove I can do it with a Dremel. Oh, okay. Every home shall have at least one long arm compatible with Department of Defense standardized infantry rifle munitions and magazines, and 2 such magazines of a minimum of 30 round capacities and 91 rounds. Okay. I'm actually a little more flexible about this one. First of all, what is Department of Defense standardized infantry rifle munitions right now? We don't know. The Army's switching over to the M5. Everybody else is staying with the M16. It's a great question. What is standardized? There's a whole lot about that paragraph that I'm willing to discuss with somebody who'd be willing to come in here and fucking discuss it with me, but nobody is. Or at least nobody who's willing to fight me. All right, this last one. Temporary transfers. Any person who temporarily transfers, that should be transfers, to any other person, any weapon for up to 30 days with a signed and dated receipt attesting to the date of the transfer. Said transfers may be revoked at any time by the rightful owner without explanation nor cause. That should actually include a section just for home builds of, let's say, 48 hours. I should probably work on that. That's going to be a priority over the next couple of days. All right. Warsaw, you got any questions about that?
I just have some words for the California governor.
Oh, please use them all.
Gavin Newsom, go fuck yourself.
Really? That's it? I'm going to give you some more words. How about that? I call him no mandate. I was in San Francisco in February 2003. He's coming off of his re-election as mayor. This is something he thought he was entitled to win, to the point where he thought he believed he was entitled to a mandate. A opponent was put up who got enough of the vote to deny him his mandate, so he has no mandate. You know what happened 6 months later? If you didn't, Wasp, if you don't, just say no, I don't.
I know.
Okay. 6 months, almost to the day. It was like 6 months, and I think 2.5 days later. Gavin ordered the county clerk, who is also an elected official and therefore does not answer to the mayor, to start registering same-sex marriages, or he was going to remove her from her office. That same day, she began processing same-sex marriage certificates. Now, I don't give a flying fuck if you're gay or lesbian or bi. As long as it's human and an adult, whatever. Go do you, boo. Right? But he was doing it to force the entire rest of the state to follow along with his example. And I can tell you Prop 22 passed for a reason. Prop 22 was the original same-sex marriage ban. The one that was declared unconstitutional, so they went back and redid it as a constitutional amendment. And then the same people who tried to claim that the original one was unconstitutional went to the same judge, filed the same thing to declare this unconstitutional or some shit like that. I can't exactly remember now. That same judge said, yes, of course, this is unconstitutional. During the course of that trial, the question was asked if the judge had a bias in this matter, and he was asked about a particular bias. Did he have a male partner? Was he ruling on a case which would materially impact him personally, or that he had a vested interest in? He said, no, I don't. 2 months after he made his ruling that this was unconstitutional, him and his longtime roommate, that was the words that was being used at the time, were formally married in a ceremony in whatever fucking county that was. What? It's not Napa. It's the next one over to the west. How about that? How very convenient, Wasp. Do you notice how convenient all that is?
Definitely is questionable.
Questionable, nothing. It's obviously a ruled on the case, and they judge shopped because they knew that he would rule one particular way. He had to rule one particular way to get what he wanted in life. This is literally like a judge with huge investment ruling on a product defect in Boeing aircraft, which, by the way, that actually happened. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a bosun's mate. Oh, I'm sorry. I was a seaman at the time. I wasn't a bosun's mate yet. Where was I going with that rant? Other than, expressing the fact that I'm a fucking asshole. Okay, I'm going to check out the chat real quick. Make sure it's all caught up. Okay, good. Excellent. All right. Hi, DJ. You're just in time for Get Home Bag, which should be lights and signaling. Okay. I was playing with it. Oh, Jesus, there it is. All right. Boeing. Yeah, Boeing. Yeah, no. Ladies and gentlemen, that happened. I really don't give a fuck. As long as it's human and an adult, whatever. Okay. So, Get Home Bag. Wasp, what does this appear to be to you?
That, my friend, would be a headset for mounting a light. And those are actually really decent because if you can't hold a flashlight, mounting one on your head is actually really decent.
It's actually the whole light system. This is actually one you can get at Walmart, and that's all I'll say. And I'm going to try not to blind everybody out, but see, this thing is actually really, really good.
It's even good for reading.
It is. He's not wrong. Like if you're in your rack and reading, I actually used this type of thing when I was homeless. Because I would have to stay up sometimes at night very, very late because I knew the cops were in the area. So I wanted to be awake, or at least appear to be awake. So I'd be sitting there reading. This particular model is also very, very bright if the batteries are good.
We got LEDs.
Yeah.
Yep, don't mess up your eyes if you're not careful.
Don't mess up your eyes even if you are careful. It wasn't pointed directly at my eyes.
Oh, they're bright.
Would you believe that I keep this at my station at work?
Wouldn't surprise me in the least.
This is not even part of my get home bag per se. This is part of my work gear. Sometimes when I'm working, I got to dig a piece of plastic or something out of the box because it got stuck or this or that. When I'm using it at work, I'll actually hold it with a hand to just kind of quickly look down, but I could still put it on my forehead. And this leaves your hands open for other things. Now, if you don't need it, toss it in your bag and just know that it's there. And if I ever do have to bug out, if I ever do have to fight my way home, and that's what we're getting at here, I grab my bag, I grab this out of the box at my station, and I am out that door. All right. Everything else that I need is in the back, including oh, god damn it. Okay. Anyway, one of these. You can get these for $1 at Dollar General. You can get like 50 of these for probably $1. The smaller ones, these are Calium lights. This is the exact same company, I'm not even kidding, that we used when I was in the Coast Guard. All you do is you break it. If you want to break it, and it'll produce this particular model, produce a green light that can be seen to, I think it was a half mile away. But I know aircraft can see them much further, so helicopters can see them much, much further. How long they last depends on if you shook it, and what the weather conditions are. These are horrible for seeing, but they're great for being seen. Just hold them over your head and wave to friendlies to come pick your ass up. You can turn on. Yeah.
I was also going to mention. Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
No. What was on your mind?
Another option, if you're like at a sporting goods store or say like, hey, maybe Walmart, see if they got a flare gun because it can come handy.
Flares are good. I'm going to caution on flare guns per se, folks. If you're going to have any kind of gun of any sort, be sure you know how to use it properly. I've seen coasties set things on fire from using flare guns improperly. Not inappropriately. That's a funny story that's not funny at all. So if you're going to go that route, know what you are doing. Be careful Here's the last two. Now, I also have a whistle in there. This was a set of. Let me get where I want it. Okay. This was a set of 3, 1 blue, 1 green, and 1 red light. And it's literally a battery operated light. There's a little screw that prevents you from accidentally opening it up, but it can be recharged. And this particular type has a whistle on it. Oh, right. Sounds like crap, but it does work. I think this was this kit was like $1 for the 3 of them. There's also a flashlight. This is a little more of a specialty item. Oh, there's no battery in it. But I got this. Okay, I got this at West Marine. Put the battery in it, and you close it up, and it'll strobe for, I think it's 12 hours. Well, this model probably is less than 12 hours. The model we carried in the Guard is about 12 hours. You want to be seen when you need, or you need to be seen when you need to be seen. Have something that can tell somebody how to find you. During the 2018, I think it was, fire season, a campground got overrun by campfire, not the campfire, a different fire. The people in there were trapped. There were National Guard helicopters running around doing rescues, but there's only so much they can do, right? Forest Service told them to waive off of this rescue. It was too risky. National Guardsmen said, "Thank you very much. We understand." And then they put one of their crewmen on the ground to coordinate the evacuation on the ground. And one of the things he did was get like 4 or 5 cars around the pickup points with their front ends pointed in so that they could turn on the headlights so pilots could hopefully see the people they were picking up. But more importantly, he had them all turn their flashers on. The pilots could definitely see those lights flashing, despite the smoke bringing visibility down to less than half a mile in the middle of this raging forest fire. If I recall correctly, he pulled about 50 people out over the course of 3 trips. Now, a lot of respect to those pilots, right, to the ground crewmen who very much risked being overcome by this fire too, by staying there to coordinate the pickups. All right, okay, you 10 people over there, you 10 people over there, whatever, so that they could load up safely and get people out of there. Nobody else because that crewman had the sense to get the cars surrounding the pickup zone so that the pilots could see what was going on. Now, maybe the pilots told them to do that. I don't know. Maybe it was everybody had the exact same idea at the same time. I don't care. But a lot of respect to those guys. They did it right, and partly because they had a way to signal up into the air, "Hey, we're down here. Come pick us up." Okay. I think that yes by DJ was about the National Guardsmen. Have the things that you need to be seen and have at least some sort of flashlight in case you need to see. I know your cell phone can make a flashlight for a few seconds, Of course, your cell phone should have a flashlight app in it, but I uninstalled mine because it's spyware. But yeah, have something so you can see, and as much as you can so you can be seen. Wasp brings up the subject of flare guns. Be absolutely sure you know how it works before you set something on fire. This is a no shit story. During a Mark 184, I think it was, parachute flare training at BMA school, we were told specifically to turn it and hold it like this and this and that and something else, and to calculate the wind. Don't fire it straight up, right? Have it at a little bit of an angle so that if the wind is blowing, it'll go into the wind first and then drift back. Well, one guy put it directly up and fire in the hole, and sure enough, the wind blew that flare right into the bed of a permanent party's truck. Chief ran over, pulled it out in time to stop it from destroying the truck, but it destroyed the truck bed, and that was a $20,000 repair job. If you're going to use a flare gun, be absolutely sure you know how it works, right? And I'm actually saying this the way it is. Don't be afraid to go down to the police department or the fire department or the ranger station or something and say, hey, I have a flare gun. I'm not exactly sure I'm doing it right. Do you think you could help me out so that I know how to use this thing correctly if I need to? Also, minor thing, do not put, I think it's 20 caliber flares into a flare gun. You will not have a flare gun, and you may or may not have a hand if you fire it. And if you don't believe me, go check out the Flater Mouse. They did it.
Like to add to that too.
Yeah.
Don't put a fucking shotgun shell in one of those things. I've seen YouTube videos on that shit.
Well, it's tell Flater Mouse probably.
Yeah, the other thing is made of plastic, so think twice because there's nothing left of your hand then.
No, don't think twice. Just don't do it once.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. No, you won't do that, Alpine Gulch. Don't do that. I need you to have both hands. Okay. Thank you. All right. Bernie says ATF eating shit sandwich from Courts makes me sleep better. He's not wrong. All right. Yes, the ATF was literally just doing what they were told to, but you know what? Kind of don't give a shit. All right. Just following orders only gets you so far. And then after that, no, you're kind of fucked on your own. I mean, if you want to get fucked in the ass, ATF, could you at least bring lube for the rest of us? All right, because we don't. Why are you doing it? Okay, you like getting fucked in the ass. We understand. But why do we have to suffer because you don't like the lube? Just saying. Oh, okay. I got you now. Alpine Gulch is saying that she's going to go to a fire station for flare gun training. And yeah, I mean, they should be able to help you out there. All right. If they can't, they will direct you to somebody who can. And if they still can't, let me know, guys. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube, but if it comes down to that, I will take a trip to Mendocino County and fire a flare from the beach. That would actually be a fun trip with Dad. And he could film me doing it. And maybe even get a couple of comments in, because believe it or not, that video of me interviewing Papa Gary, it's not the first time you hear his voice. First time you hear his voice was from 2020 when we were southbound on I-5 through the fire zone in Oregon. Oh, and northbound, actually, not on I-5 when you couldn't see the dam in the distance. You could hear his voice in the background. Gulch, is there... Oh, Gulch. Wasp, is there anything you want to add at this point?
Like what? Survival? What are we talking?
Generally related to the subject, or you can go a little off onto a tangent because we got about 15 minutes. I can give you 5 minutes.
All right. Well, since we're talking about signal and stuff like that, this is kind of branching off into survival. There's one guy I would recommend you watch. You probably have seen him on Discovery Channel like a decade ago. Stroud. He was known as Survivor Man.
I remember that name.
That guy knows what he's doing over fucking Bear Grylls.
Okay. I'm gonna drop that. Actually, Wasp, can you spell his name?
Stroud, L-E-S, Stroud. Yeah, I can look it up for you.
Yeah.
But the guy's a legend, man.
I'm pretty sure this is the correct spelling, people. There you go. And I'm going to show that.
Here we go.
Less proud. Okay.
I need to be a moderator in order to put this link in.
Well, drop it in the private chat. Or the on the StreamYard side of the chat now.
Or here, I can just drop it in Discord for you.
Okay. Well, now I'm got to get the Discord. Hold up. Oof. Excuse me.
No, I just loved watching that guy since 2007, dude. Especially his intro.
We're waiting for Discord. No, I Dream of Genie. Well, there we go. I see it. Fuck you. You know what? Fuck you, Discord. I'll do it the hard way. Thank you, DJ. Yeah, that was the wrong one. Let's try that again. And I will actually... I will also include that in the no, I won't. I will put that in the description later because DJ has a different one. I'm not sure, but that looks right. All right. Any quick rants you might want to hit on, maybe related to a subject we discussed a couple days ago? Or do you want to hold off?
Let's go, Brandon, and let's go, Newsom.
Fuck you, Gavin. You lying cocksucker. I mean, I live to worship our reptile overlords. All right, folks. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there then. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, carry all day, every day. Had the founders foreseen the future, they would have written a very different Second Amendment. The security of the safety of the people being necessary to the security of the free state, the duty of the people to keep and bear arms shall be enforced. I hope I did Elle justice because she memorized that. And keep calm and mandatory carry on. Good night, everybody.